Hi everyone, welcome to another video. I just want to start the video by saying thank you to everybody who's been watching. I really appreciate the support. Most of all, I really hope the videos are helpful. One thing I'm going to start by saying that I am in solo. I am not on a server. I'm not playing online. All these files are local. Pretty much everything I'm doing going to be done in real time. All the changes that are going to happen, all the commands I put in, everything's going to happen right now. Okay, here is a current list of mods I'm using. Server dev commands, spawner tweaks, world edit commands, infinity hammer, structure tweaks, the BepInEx configuration manager, which everybody should be using if they're using mods, item stands all, easy spawner, plan build, x-ray vision, upgrade world, map teleport, clutter, expand world, and ESP. ESP is basically a mod that allows you to kind of get data and information live from what's happening in the world. So if we go over here, you can see at the very top, it says the time, the wind speed, the position, the altitude, the amount of forest that you are in, and you know, any other stats that you might want. That's all configurable here. There's a lot of options for what you can see and can't see, just so you can get a sense of what I am talking about. Here I will do some spawns. They're pretty easy to see, I think. There they are. So these are all like the persistent world spawners in the world at the moment, and I can come over here and get information. Look, there's all sorts of spawners. So these spawners, that means like it says like tick down there. It says the condition. So bosses defeated the queen, which is the Mistlands boss. Spoiler: Mistland boss. In any case, these are all spawners, so that mod allows you to see all that stuff. It helps with doing real-time changes and analysis on stuff you're making in the world. So all of Yuri Kusla's mods kind of work within the console. That's where we're going to be putting in a lot of our commands, doing a lot of our work that aren't hotkeys or anything that's already configured for you ahead of time. Just for an example, I'm going to type in terrain, lower the amount you want to lower. So I want to lower it 20 meters. You have to put in whether it's a circle or a rectangle. So I'm going to put in circle, and the radius of the circle, that would be 5. So there we go. We've lowered the terrain 20 meters down. And because the game has a limit on the amount you can lower it, at the moment, we can't lower it any more than that. So if I repeat that command, here at the bottom, it's not going to go down any further. That is the game's floor limit on how far you can go down. I don't have the Height Map Unlimited mod installed, so that's why that's happening in that fashion. One of the other great tools in one of Yuri Kusla's mods, World Edit, which is the command that we just used to make that happen, is undo and redo. Just kind of like what you do on your computer every day, probably. Well, I have mine bound to 2 mouse buttons. So one is undo, one is redo. So as you just saw, that just disappeared because I hit undo 3 times. I can hit redo again. So I can change and make adjustments and remove mistakes very quickly just by having those 2 commands. All of these commands are here in the documentation linked at the Thunderstore page. So if I go to World Edit and I want these commands, it's right here. It says usage documentation. So if I click that, it's going to bring me here. It's going to bring me here to the World Edit commands. So we were talking about terrain. Let's go down to terrain. So here are all the commands you can do with terrain. There are lots, and there are a lot of commands overall. Don't be overwhelmed. A lot of these commands you may never use. So world edit commands and infinity hammer go like this. They combine with each other to add tools, physical tools that have commands already pre-built into them, and to basically allow you to place and remove anything in the game. With those 2 mods, you also want 2 other smaller mods called structure tweaks and spawner tweaks. Those 2 will allow you to kind of change any object in the game into any other object. And I know that sounds kind of weird, but it is absolutely true. Let me show you some of the tools that come pre-built with Infinity Hammer. that World Edit also takes advantage of. So the hammer itself can actually select anything in the game. There's a hotkey for this. Yeah, anything you're hovering over, you can pick up, rotate, and place wherever you want. There's also scaling options. The hotkey is Shift, pretty easy. So you can just select anything, rotate it, scale it on the fly pretty easily. So that is the hammer tool. There's also a couple other hammers that allow you to area select things. So if I just want like a bunch of those trees in that same position, I can literally take that, select them all, boom, done. You know, if I wanted to make some sort of, you know, forest with this selection for whatever reason, there you go. And now I've just added a whole bunch of new forest really fast. There's about 3,000 other ways you could do this, but that's one of the easiest ones because of those tools. And I can just undo, boop, 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 gone. It also comes with the hoe commands, which aside from the base ones, there's a level. So that just levels the terrain. The hotkey for changing the size, again, is Shift. And then you have your Q hotkey, which will change the radius and size of these objects. This is like circle within a circle, square within a square. So here's square. If I just want to level the terrain in a square, boop, 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 boop. I can change the size of the square, obviously. So that's the level command. Then there's the raise command. So the hotkey for the raise command is Shift and Control. That brings it up, so I can raise it there. If I hold down Alt and Shift, it'll smooth it. So here's it's smoothed. Here's it unsmoothed. You can see the difference. If I want to bring this up some more, I can. And then here is unsmoothed, and here is with Alt and Shift smoothed. You can see the difference. Okay, that's raise. And we've got pave. This is basically just painting the grass. There are multiple different tools. Here's grass. Here's dirt. Here's cultivated ground. Here's dark grass. I think that's just a darker version of the grass. Hence the name. Patchy grass. Mossy paving. One of my favorites. And dark paving, which is just a little bit darker than regular pave. You can see the difference there. And this is just a tool, a reset tool. So I'm just gonna, if you want to fix the changes you made, boom, boom, boom. Okay, here's your slope tool. So if I want a slope from my position to a point I designate, it can only go so far, but there's that. And now, look, got a slope. So that's basically the slope tool. You can also do these commands in the console. These are all commands that have been put together in the console. If you look in your config folder, so if I go to my config folder from Thunderstore Mod Manager to settings to browse profile folder, here's the profile folder, BepInEx, config, in config. So here, in the YAML file of Infinity Hammer, here are the tools that have been put together. And you can make your own tools with their own icons to do whatever you want. These are all the same commands that are in the documentation for Infinity Hammer and World Edit. So you can take these commands that you want, and he gives examples, and these examples would be just as effective to put in as commands in a new tool if you wanted to do that. So those are the tools that come with the mod. Basically allows you to change the terrain on the fly as you need it. So that's it for this brief tutorial on some of the Infinity Hammer and World Edit commands and tools. If you found this video helpful, give it a like. If you want to find out more about the World Edit mod and the commands and tools that it gives you, post a comment below and tell me what you want to know about. The next video is going to be about Expand World and using the Plan Build mod and Infinity Hammer to copy your own custom blueprints for locations around the world. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.